Alright, what's going on today, YouTube? Welcome back to your favorite cyclist YouTube channel. This week, we're back with the BMX bike, and we're going to be redoing this headset here. But before we get into today's video, if you're new to my channel, make sure you head down below, hit that subscribe button for me. If you already are subscribed, make sure you hit that bell icon next to that. That way you get notified every time I upload. That way you don't miss any of this awesome cycling content on this channel. So like I said, we got our good little BMX bike up here, our framed Impact XL we picked up earlier this year, and realistically we've done kind of what's been necessary to get this bike riding up to this point. Done tires, did the bottom bracket, did new chain, did new drivetrain, kind of basic stuff. We haven't really done anything extra to this bike. It's been pretty basic. This bike's kind of made just to beat on it and have fun. So what we're working on today, we're going to pull apart this headset, we're going to clean it all up, get it regreased, show you guys how to do that yourself. This is just your standard threadless headset, so this will apply to any bike with a threadless headset. Same process will apply. Again, this bike is not bad. Like, it doesn't feel like chunky or anything here, but it's something I feel like needs to be done. We need to put some grease in there. Just make sure everything looks all right in there too. Don't need to replace anything, and make sure this bike is nice and happy. So let's bring it closer. Let's start taking this headset apart. So closer up here. So how do you know when your headset needs to be regreased or reworked or anything like that? So there's a couple things that can kind of be a signal to it. In the case of this one, we're kind of just doing preventative maintenance here. This is a bike that I don't know the history on very much. I don't know when the last time this headset was greased, and it's something that needs to be done. We need to make sure there's nice, clean grease in there to make sure everything works nice and smoothly. Other things you'll notice when you need to replace, you need to go in there and inspect your headset bearings, potentially rebuild it, is if you have some play. If you grab down here on the crown of the fork, grab up here on the stem, and you can move this back and forth. If this will move back and forth and you feel the movement in kind of the steer tube area here, then yeah, you need to pull this thing apart, check your bearings, re-grease if necessary, replace bearings if necessary. Another reason you might want to check your bearings, replace them, or re-grease them is if you start to move this and it feels kind of crunchy. Feels kind of crunchy, something might be going on there. Might have gotten contaminants in the bearings. You're going to want to check out, see what's going on in there. So we're going to go ahead and pull this guy apart. It's super simple to take this apart here, especially since we don't have a front brake on BMX bike. So pretty simple. We're just going to need kind of your standard Allen keys here. Pretty much a 5 and a 6 should be what we need for this bike. Varies based on your bike. Essentially what we're going to look at, we're going to first take off our top cap right up here on the top of the bike. I'm going to go ahead, spin this guy all the way off. All right, we'll set that off to the side. After that, we have our 2 stem bolts here. So we're going to go ahead and undo these. So as you undo these, one thing to note is your stem is all it's really holding your fork on at this point. So as you go ahead and loosen these guys up, you don't have to loosen them, you don't have to take them all the way out, just loosen them up. Be aware your fork may pop out. So we're going to go ahead and undo this one. Okay. So you can see now we got the stem bolts loose. We can actually move our bars separate from our wheel. So our next step, we're going to pull our bars off, and we can kind of hang those off to the side wherever works for you. In our case, we're going to stick them right up there on a stand. After that, your fork may or may not just fall out. Depends on your fork. Depends how long it's been. In this case, it didn't fall out. So what we're going to do, we're going to come up here. There's a headset spacer. We're going to pop that guy out. And you can see right here, there's a nice silver kind of ring right at the top. So that is actually what's holding our fork on at this moment. So what we can do, we can either pull it down, we can smack on the top. Oh, that guy does not want to move. All right. If it doesn't want to move for whatever reason, rubber hammer. You can also try getting a small screwdriver, and the silver guy does have a split in it. You can try getting our small screwdriver underneath there and trying to pop it up to release some pressure. There we go. Got it. Most of the time it'll come out by itself, if not with the hammer. So then we have a couple pieces on the top. We want to hold on to those, keep those in the place they are in. Then we can go ahead, pull our fork all the way out, just like so. There is a seal on the bottom, so make sure you hang on to that seal on the bottom. Put that right over here, separate. Then you have your fork right here. Our bottom bearing fell out. There's our bottom bearing. Put a fork right up here for the moment. There's our lower bearing. And up on the top, we'll have our upper bearing sitting right here in this cup. There it is. There's our upper bearing right there. That's kind of the process of taking those out at least. So once you have them out, go ahead. Grab a paper towel, some degreaser. We're going to wipe stuff down here. All right, so we got this paper towel here. We got some Simple Green. We're gonna spray it on there. We're just gonna go ahead and wipe out any grease, dirt, whatever in our headset cups. Make sure those are nice and clean. You don't want any dirt or old grease in there if we're repacking everything with nice new grease. Get those all nice and cleaned up. Top one looks great. But do the same for our bottom one, which generally the bottom one is not near as bad as the top one, because everything tends to collect to the top. Gravity, you know, funny thing there. All right, once we have those set, what we're gonna do is gonna take your finger and just gonna run it around the headset cup. And what you're really feeling for is any kind of chunks or gouges or big kind of dips or anything in the headset cups. They should be completely smooth, nice and smooth in there. If you feel any kind of gouges or big dips or divots or massive rust holes, anything like that, it's time for a new headset. But in this case, that all actually feels really good. I have no concerns with the headset cups on this bike. Once we get that done, we then have to come over to our fork right here, where we have our crown race. Crown race needs to get wiped off of any grease as well. It's going to sit up on the inside of our lower bearings. So, a little Simple Green. Awesome. Got that set. And then same thing with our crown race here. We're just going to, again, feel it, smooth it. Make sure it's all feels nice and smooth. No rust chunks, nothing like that. And make sure it feels nice and smooth. And yeah, that feels great. Nice and smooth. It was taken care of at some point in its life. So we're all smooth there. All right. And come up to our top piece here. So again, you have the same kind of race up on the top. This goes inside of your bearing. So we need to make sure that is nice and clean and smooth as well. Feels smooth. Smooth as can be. All right. I'm going to kind of wipe everything down while we're in here. Okay, here's that silver piece we were talking about that was holding our fork on. Make sure that's nice and smooth as well. We're kind of cleaning everything in there. Wiping everything down with some degreaser, paper towel, whatever you got. Just making sure everything is nice and clean. It's going to go back together nice and smoothly. Not give us any issues. Kind of the big deal with this thing. Cool. All right, got all that wiped down. Now let's go ahead, let's take a look at our bearings. Okay, so in the case of this headset, these are a caged loose ball bearing here. So as you can see, there are a bunch of ball bearings in there, and they're in this kind of like a cage that holds them in place. Make sure they don't move around, make sure they don't get lost. So what we're looking for is make sure all these bearings are actually there. You will find some places there are bearings missing. So make sure all the bearings are where they're supposed to be. In this case, it looks good. You're also checking your bearing cage for any damages. Any of these little teeth that are bent out of place, the bearing cage is bent out of place, it's rusted, anything along those lines. Something you are kind of paying attention to with these guys. In this case, the top one actually looks pretty good. Take a look at our bottom one, and same thing. Actually looks pretty good. All the bearings are there, and yeah, cage looks great. This bike was taken care of at some point in its life, so everything actually looks pretty good for our headset bearings. First one we do, we need to clean these guys up. Again, Simple Green paper towel. Get this guy cleaned up with all the grease, and then we'll start reassembling this headset. It goes together almost as easy as taking this thing apart. Let's get these cleaned up. All right, it's got the bearings nice and clean. You can see they're nice and silver now, kind of what they should be. You should be able to run your fingers over each of the different ball bearings, and you should be able to feel them roll underneath your fingers. That means everything is rolling nice and smoothly. If you can just kind of move your fingers over everything, and they all roll, awesome. We are set to go. So, what we're going to do here is essentially put our bearings back into our headset, kind of just like so. So, your bearings themselves, the cage, the outside cage portion is what's going to be outside of the frame. So, the ball part is what's going to be setting on the inside of the frame. That's going to be sitting inside those cups there. That's going to let it roll nice and smoothly, both sides. So, it's that side down. Pretty simple, right? So, what we're going to do, we got our grease here. We're going to go ahead, we're going to get some grease, and we're just going to throw it inside of our headset cups. Pretty much where our bearings are going to go. It's going to give them a nice surface to slip on right when they go in. There we go. All right. There we go. Nice and greasy right there. Then we're going to go ahead and throw some grease on our actual bearings as well. So we're going to grab the same brush here, and we're just going to kind of brush this in. I like a brush because it lets it get in between that cage and kind of get all sides of the bearing. And you can go on both sides, make sure you push it into that cage some. If you do it by hand, same kind of deal. You just want to make sure it goes into every little nook and cranny on these bearings. Going to help them last longer, roll smoother. Be happy. I mean, come on. That's it, right? Be happy. All right. There we go. We got one. This is going to be our lower one. And then we need to get our lower seal right here. So our lower seal and our bearing are going to go just like this. Just like so. And these are going to slide right onto our fork. First things we're going to do right there. All right. We'll let those sit for just a moment. We're going to get our top headset bearing all greased up too. Once we have that one all set, this one's going to set right up on the top. Right on there. Nice and easy. Just like so. We're going to wipe our fingers off so we don't get grease over our entire fork. Once we have that, we have everything on the bottom that needs to be there. So we can grab our fork, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to feed our fork up through our headset here. Whoop. Whoop. All right. You can see sits nice and flush on the bottom. Sits nice and neat in there. We can even spin it a little bit. You can see it spins. All right. And then we're going to get our top race cap here. That guy's going to go right down in there. It should, if we get this thing lined up. Am I missing a seal? I'm missing a seal. Sorry. There we go. Seal first. That's going to seal our bearings on the top cap. Then we can get our race. All right. Perfect. There we are. All right. That guy nice and good on there. We can get our, what do we got here? A spacer. All right. So we go ahead and get our silver lock piece here, a little wedge. That guy's going to kind of wedge itself down in there. It's going to help hold everything together. Get our headset spacer, just like that. Got grease all over my hands again. I'll wipe everything down. Just easier to get to when the bars aren't here. All right. Just like so. And we can grab our bars. Make sure our cable's on the right side. There we go. Put our bars back on top. Notice I'm still holding underneath the fork because it is still loose. If I let go, it will just fall, like I just almost tried to do. And we can get our bolt for our top cap back in. That started to go in there. And once that's started in there a couple threads, you can actually let go of the bottom, like so. I'm going to leave it held up just because it makes everything want to stay in its place a little better, I feel like. And we're just going to tighten this guy up a little bit. Kind of seat everything in there nice and tight. So I generally go a little bit over tight first. Just to kind of seat everything in that headset there. Actually feels pretty solid. All right. Seated? All right, there we go. So we can tell it's a little tight, but that is everything seated in there. Then I like to tip the bike forward. That way the front wheel kind of hangs by itself. Essentially what we're checking is our headset tightness here. So if we turn our bar sideways here, you can see they kind of stay there. They don't return to center. And same thing with this side. They don't really return to center. They're kind of notchy right now. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and loosen this top cap bolt up. Just a hair, maybe a quarter turn. There we go. And we're going to try it again. So you can see it's a little better. We're also going to kind of work in the grease some. So we're just going to kind of spin them back and forth, get that grease worked in. All right. So now let's try. So you can see it wants to go back. It is kind of a little, it's kind of a little notchy. So we're going to go just about like maybe eighth turn more. See how that feels. So then we can kind of watch it. And we want it to kind of come back nice and smooth. See how that feels. Ooh, that one's looking pretty good. See that? See how it's nice and smooth? Doesn't look notchy or anything like that. That looks great. I like that. And then what we're going to do, we can come here. Once we have that kind of set where we think it's pretty good, we're going to come here and we're going to go ahead and just grab the bars, grab down here on the crown, and we're just going to kind of shake them back and forth and see if there's any movement. That feels actually really good. to me. We're going to go ahead and get our stem lined up with our wheel. Yeah, it's pretty good. All right, once we have that straight ahead, go ahead and we can equally tighten our stem bolts here. Once we have that set, your headset is essentially going to hold itself together. So if you have a top cap that has a certain way it's supposed to go, like it has a picture on it, like mine does, you can then loosen that up, turn that to where it needs to go, and then retighten it. There we go. And then once you have it all set, you can just double check everything. Swing the bars, make sure everything moves nice and smoothly. Looks great to me. And then we come down here and we just grab up on our stem, grab down here on the crown, and wiggle it back and forth, make sure nothing moves. And there we go. A new headset, all new, greased up headset. That actually feels really good. As much as it didn't look like it could use it, it feels really good with it cleaned up, which is really nice. It feels really smooth now. That's awesome. All right. And that's how you go ahead and you re-grease and rebuild your threadless headset. All right, so hopefully that helped you guys understand how your threadless headset works and how you can re-grease everything, clean it up, get it working just like brand new. If you guys enjoyed the video or maybe learned something today, give this video a big thumbs up. Appreciate the support. Any comments or questions, let me know down in the comment section below. Love talking to you guys. Love answering questions you guys have. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching today.